Hey everyone, welcome to my fourth video. If you don't know me, I'm Maya. I'm an award-winning mindset, personal development, and performance coach for women entrepreneurs and self-employed, helping you to make bolder moves and more money. So let's talk about perfectionism. Now, you might not consider yourself to be a perfectionist, but hear me out because you might still be experiencing it from time to time. I'm not a perfectionist at all. I love learning and I'll put myself and my stuff out there in order to improve. But I did have moments where it held me back, like when I felt like I already had to be an expert before starting, or when I spent way too long trying to perfect my first webinar, which, by the way, was terrible now looking back at it. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 mindset shifts to overcome time-wasting perfectionism. Before we get into it, let's clarify the difference between perfectionism and being a high achiever. Because of course, aiming for excellence is a good thing, right? Of course, we want to provide high quality stuff to our clients or customers. But what drives high achievers is the desire to simply get closer to their high standards. They're happy with accomplishments and any steps in the right direction, and they appreciate and even enjoy the process. What drives perfectionism, on the other hand, is a fear of not reaching their ideals or high standards. So they're obsessed with the exact final outcome instead of enjoying the process. Now, if you're still not entirely sure which one is more true for you, let's check out some signs. The first sign of experiencing perfectionism is, of course, self-criticism. So instead of feeling proud or excited about our accomplishments, we focus on the gap between our work and that perfect outcome that we want. And then we beat ourselves up for not achieving it. In my webinar situation, this caused me fear, overwhelm, and procrastination. And by not taking that risk, I missed out on opportunities to connect with my audience, make an impact, grow, and basically make more money. So I was limiting my options and possibilities at the time. The second sign of experiencing perfectionism is self-anger and inner conflict. We find ourselves in a lose-lose situation where we're angry at ourselves for procrastinating or avoiding. But then if we do that thing, then we beat ourselves up for not doing it perfectly. So we can't win no matter what we do. Another thing is that sometimes achieving some success can create even more avoidance because we're afraid of losing that success by taking the less than perfect next step to match up. And so it's really hard to take action when you're fighting yourself. Another sometimes sneaky block connected with perfectionism is the fear of judgment, comparing ourselves to others and tying our self-worth to external approval, feeling like we need to prove ourselves somehow. Thing is, even if we consciously believe that these are our own standards, they're almost always based on what we've been conditioned to perceive as acceptable, and we evaluate ourselves against them. I mean, what does highest quality even mean if we got nothing to compare it to, right? So this puts both the value of our work and our self-worth in other people's hands and out of our control, where it should be and actually really is. Okay, so what can we actually do about this? So now let's look at the 5 mindset shifts that you can make. Number 1, remember that your mind is a learning machine. That's literally what it's naturally designed for. We can go with it or we can go against it. So practice being curious about your expanding potential instead of fixating on perfect. It's not about getting everything right, but about exploring and moving forward. And think about it. You were born keen to learn and experience, right? You didn't judge yourself. Everything was new to you, but you just went for it completely open. It was natural. It is natural. So recognize that this confidence to progress is already in you as a human, and you just need to let go of any beliefs or stories that you've accumulated over time that have gotten in your way. And if you make your goal the learning itself, rather than any specific outcome, then you're setting yourself up for success every time. Number two, there's a misconception around how confidence needs to come before taking an action. But the truth is, confidence comes after, especially if it's your first time. So it's natural to feel uncertain or nervous when doing something new. But that discomfort is not only a necessary part of expanding, it's also temporary. Usually lasts far less than what you're worried about. In my first ever public speaking event, if I can call it that, only 5 people showed up. I gave a talk about the Sedona method. I felt nervous, insecure, and self-conscious. And the talk was not the best, but my level of confidence already increased. I recognized that the world didn't come crashing down over me. And I also identified what I could do better. So today, I don't even think twice about presenting. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. There's still lots I can improve on, always. So welcome the power of yet. So I'm not great at this yet. This isn't good as I'd like it to be yet. And allow yourself to practice to feel uncomfortable. And remember that it's a sign of growth. It's temporary. And that confidence will show up even though perfection never will. Number three, remind yourself of the bigger picture to stop making one action or event so important. So going back to my webinar example, I was stressing out over it because I was thinking that my life depends on this one video. You know, if this fails, my entire business fails. But when I started thinking of the bigger perspective, and that I'd probably be making 100 videos in my business, that 1 out of 100 wasn't that big a deal anymore. Number four, remember that ultimately your experience is what's going on in your head, and you're in charge of your thoughts and feelings, not others. So learn how to let go of others' expectations and stop measuring yourself against others and define your own way and your own success. In the end, that's what's going to make you feel happy and fulfilled. And you know, many of my clients actually come from a successful corporate background. And even though they've accomplished lots of stuff and reached some respected high positions, they were unhappy and unfulfilled because they were living up to someone else's standards. It wasn't their own path they were on. So remember, it's only your own approval that matters. Do what makes you happy and know that you're doing just fine exactly where you're at on your own path. Number five, recognize that achievement and self-worth are two completely separate and different things. Mixing these two up creates so much unnecessary pressure and even shame. So don't confuse them. And think for a second about a child or a baby. Are they any less worthy because they've not perfected a task or achieved anything yet? Of course not. So identify and remove beliefs that are keeping your self-esteem low. And a better standard for measuring your self-worth might be is how you live up to your own values or what kinds of intentions drive you. Now, if you're not sure how to let go of some of the beliefs that might be in your way, I'm running a free workshop on the 21st of March. It's going to be live and interactive, and I'll be sharing with you a practical process to get rid of limiting beliefs. It's easy, fast, and it works. So I will drop the link in the comments and feel free to sign up. And now go out there and do that imperfect thing. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.